Well, hi there and welcome to Home Wizards. I'm Cindy Dole.
Hey, I'm Eric Stromer.
And, if you are feeling that where you live right now, it is
You mean
bloody
Mars?
hot.
I'm living in Mars.
It is very
basically.
hot in a lot of parts
Yeah.
of the country, and it's summer. It's supposed to be hot, but in certain parts of the country, not only is it hot, but there is a drought, and so it's something that we have to think about in terms of our garden, because we want our garden to make sure, and our plants and our containers, that they live and they make it through the summer. Because maybe you're going on vacation, and then can you trust that pet sitter to also take care of your plants
The
or
answer
not?
is maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You come home and now your investment is it's gone down the tubes.
Sure.
Or you aren't on vacation, but because of the heat, you don't know what to do, and it's heat and wind and whatever. So we thought we'd talk about things that you can do to help keep your garden alive throughout what's left of the very hot summer, especially container gardens.
Boy, I'll tell you, I've had some rough stretches with the containers.
Tell me about it.
Well, it was the hanging baskets with the coconut husk stuff around
Which
the
is
outside.
it just sucks all the...
You're basically suspending soil in the air with no way to keep moisture in.
Mm-hmm.
So the amount of watering you would have to do to keep the thing going almost offsets the whole idea of the concept that you've created this hanging basket. It's almost not worth it.
Or you put a liner in next time.
I'll put either a liner in, or I'll just hang a ceramic pot or a clay pot that holds moisture in. I think that's more efficient.
Yeah,
especially. I'm just
especially...
not a guy. You have to know your limitations. I'm not a guy that's going to stand out there every single morning and water and remember, because I'm crazy busy with all the stuff going on. So I need something that retains moisture a little more effectively.
And they do. They have certain baskets that are, whether they're plastic or different materials, because I know what you're talking about, that coconut fiber. It's pretty.
It's pretty, and it drains. It's also lightweight and easier to hang when the thing gets full of water. It's not so heavy. Right?
But, the water it's like a sieve. The water just goes right out. But you can do certain things. You can put like liners, like a plastic liner before you put the soil. Like you'd have inside, the layer one is the coconut husk, and then inside that, you can get like a plastic sheet, almost like a bowl to put in there, or even some of that weed fiber. What do you call that stuff? The
weed screen.
Weed screen.
I'm afraid that's also a little
too thin.
Too thin.
It'll be like a sieve.
The air gets right to it.
Well, so anyways, we're looking at what the rest of the summer season, and as a vacation and all that's coming to an end, and back to our fall routine. Let's talk about things we can do to be wise about taking care of our garden. Now, container gardening, first of all, tips for watering less. One strategy is to keep your gardens over the summer, to apply a layer of mulch over the top.
Hallelujah. Boy, I can't stress the importance of that.
And so, in fact, you can do this in baskets too. So the idea is to trap as much moisture in every area, from the bottom and from the top. You don't want to prevent drainage. But the idea, in fact, one of the things that we do to slow down the drainage in our pots, especially a clay pot, is we take a couple of old destroyed clay pots and just cut them up or just throw them on the ground, and you have chips.
Yeah.
Do you ever do this?
I haven't. No.
And then you put 2 of those clay chips on top of each other over the drainage hole.
Oh, yeah. So it doesn't get blocked up and impeded.
So it slows down the drainage.
Exactly.
So it isn't blocked up, but also the water doesn't just go pouring right out like your basket.
Yeah.
It'll still go through the clay because it's very porous.
Sure.
So it isn't like you're trapping the water forever. You're just giving it a beat. So it stays in the container a few more seconds, maybe even a minute longer.
And I got to tell you, I have a testament to this mulch. We have a couple of different garden beds at my house, and it's very hot and dry lately. There's one area where the mulch is still intact from when I put it on in the spring in the front of the house. The garden's doing just amazingly well. And then there's an area where my kids use the garden area, which should be cement, because it's the corner where you sink the deep 3-point shot, right? But it's garden. So they stand in the garden. All the mulch has been worn off or, kicked into the dirt or whatever. That area is just looking like it's terrible because there's foot traffic and there's no mulch to cover the garden soil. So you can see the sort of A and B of it, right? And the area with no mulch is dying and the other one's thriving. So use the mulch. It's inexpensive to get. You can get it in a
huge bag
and bring it and just sprinkle it out as often as possible.
Yeah,
when it turns gray and it loses its color, that's when you got to replace it.
But it probably will last you a month.
Yeah,
Don't you think?
A little more, actually. Probably
Yeah, but
couple,
at least,
2, 3, yeah.
at least for the remainder of summer, you're good to go.
I think
So
it's worth doing
investing,
now.
go
Yeah.
get a couple of bags, maybe
Yeah.
a bunches of bags for your your actual landscape
That's
as
it.
well as your containers. And by the way, a brief little side to lawn. Right now, if your lawn is looking very parched, and you're worried about watering it because we're trying to conserve water,
Sure.
and you haven't gotten around to maybe taking some of the lawn away, maybe that'll be a goal next time to have a more drought-tolerant garden. Don't worry about watering your lawn. It's not going to look great, but it will come back when it rains.
It will.
Spend your water and your money and your time on your trees and your flowers because those guys need the water more.
Right.
The lawn,
The grass
it'll be
will come
okay.
back. Yeah.
So I know it looks terrible. It looks like you're being mean and it's not going to look attractive, but it's the survivor of all the others.
And soon enough, fall's going to come. Rains
Yeah.
will start to show up, and you'll be back to square one again.
So back to container watering. So, having the mulch, any kind of organic mulch, the shredded bark, the wooden chips, the cocoa hulls, all those things.
Please do me a favor. Don't get the bright red.
Don't get the
mulch.
red.
I can't.
And also,
stand
by
it.
the way, avoid rocks. And even though these are attractive, but we're talking about the summer heat and water,
Sure.
rocks as mulch absorb more of the heat.
Oh, I bet. It dries out the top
Even though it's
layer.
really pretty and it's better than no mulch at all.
Uh-huh.
But I've done this where I cover the top of a container with succulents with some cute little rocks.
Sure.
But that, that's kind of a bad example because succulents don't need as much water. But if you had another container and you used rocks as your mulch,
Yep.
that's a bad choice in the summer heat because it'll absorb water. And another good thing to keep in mind is fertilizer. The more you fertilize your container garden, the faster the plants grow, and guess what that means? The
More
more
water.
water that they need.
Sure.
But that doesn't mean your plants go without fertilizer. So for the best results, you want to consider a time or slow release
Oh, good idea.
fertilizer.
Yeah.
It releases small amounts over time,
Much better.
Great ideas. Anyway, Eric Stromer, Cindy Dole here. We'd love to help you find ways to enjoy where you live more. And check us out at yourhomewizards.com and on Facebook and Pinterest and Instagram. It's all there. Yourhomewizards.com. We're back in a flash.
Yeah.